Because centaurs have 2 porch pouches doesn't mean that you can smash them. So let's look at the mating manual in order to talk about the anatomy and, more importantly, culturally, why you may have a hard time getting it on with a centaur. And yes, this will be applicable to men and women who are interested in getting it on with the opposite gender of a centaur. So real quickly, let's look at the anatomy of a centaur and talk about why a human can in fact get it on with a centaur but still won't make it that easy. Because back when the Fae were actually making the centaur race viable with the second round of impregnations, look up their origin story if you don't know what I'm talking about. Or just join the guild in order to learn about their origins, because we have basically a whole page going over the creation story of them. In a cruel twist of fate, the Great Faes gave the centaurs 2 porch pouches in order to accommodate humanoids that connect directly to the spole here on the bottom half, and then the upper part, which is for centaurs and horses. Because as we've discussed in prior videos, centaurs can give birth to humans, centaurs, and horses, all dependent on if they use the proper channel for their goo gum, and each of the teamies deem the sperm of going on into the next process. But culturally, in the Great Collection, which is where the Devil's Deal series takes place, there is a ton of bad blood between druids, shamans, and the residents of the Chaos Plains. Because in the First Defiance War, where the mortals did not want Ezeron, Glace, and Anaru watching over the Chaos Plains, and initiated a massive war that resulted in 6.6 Texases, the forest land being destroyed by our lovely, tall, dommy-mommy, tatted up orc lady petals. That whole conflict raised a ton of bad blood that exists hundreds of years afterward because, one, they don't forget. They live a long time unless they're killed. And they pass the lessons that they learned during the Great War on to their descendants, including centaurs. And the Fae have made sure that the centaurs know that their half-mortal origin is a very traumatic one at that. It's only reinforced because if the soul hunters actively catch a centaur outside of the groves, there's a good chance that they're just going to kill the centaur like they do to any good heretic, or they'll put them into the Anarch Land Slave Association and use them as cattle. So during the foreign species breeding section, where they took 80 human, dwarf, orc, and elves with a centaur from the actual band that they are organizing in, they found quite a shocking number of things in terms of cultural reception to outsiders. The first thing of note is that they only got 65 of 80 participants from the Chaos Plane. Because in a couple of the mounting sessions, some of the Chaos Plane's residents actually intentionally tried to harm the centaurs. You had everything from some of the men trying to use the poop chute and other entries that the female centaur didn't want. And probably the most famous case is a human woman walked in with a bladed device in her hoo-ha and allowed a male centaur to